Welcome to another edition of the Sales and Marketing Power Hour with your host, Carol Morgan with Denim Marketing and Kimberly Mackey with New Home Solutions Consulting.
We have people still coming in here. I see piling in, but I think we probably should get started and kick things off. So keep that chat going. We want to hear from you. We want ask your questions, share your anecdotes, tell us something completely unrelated. We don't care. That's fine. And then let me share my screen so we can get through our slides. We got to get our business out of the way in the beginning here, and then we can move on to our fun, back to our fun Brady Bunch view. So today we are talking about, so if you're in the right place, if you came on to hear who's on your website and how to convert them, we have our lovely guest joining Carol and I. So we have John, Lisa, and Nick, and they're going to introduce themselves here in just a minute. And also my quote for the day, we've decided this one is acceptable, if not rather boring for me, was driving traffic without conversion is like building roads to nowhere. So, and having spent the last few weeks of my life reviewing mystery shops for a builder, this one's near and dear to my heart. It cost me ajna. Let me tell you, ajna for sure. So we got a lot to talk about with that.
All right. And if you have not yet signed up to be a member of our Sales and Marketing Power Hour group on Facebook, we'd like to have you join. Come keep the conversation going in between our every other month Sales and Marketing Power Hour webinars. And, feel free to post whatever you want, respond to things, ask questions, but get involved. We'd love to have your participation.
Yeah, really hot topic right now is people are wanting to know what events are working. So share that on that group and ask questions, because there's some people doing some pretty crazy things right now and getting out of the box. So anyway, join us and take part in the conversation. If you haven't yet signed up for the Builder Digital Marketing Summit, it is going to be in Atlanta, Hotlanta. So we are super excited about it. It is coming up next month on September 24th and 25th. I am thrilled this year to join and provide the leadership track. And this is part of my Lead from the Side program that I do, that's an annual coaching mastermind group. So I've got a year's worth of content that I'm going to try to cram into these 2 days. It's just, it's exciting times because they have questions, people are nervous, they're trying to innovate and figure out what they need to do to move their business forward. And this is the place to answer that. And this whole group, I think all of us are going to be there, right, guys?
Yes.
Yep. Every single one of us.
Faces.
Yeah. So why did you guys decide that you wanted to be part of this too?
My boss told me. No,
Your boss told you to go.
No, I'm joking. We love this event in particular. I think it's a really good format. It's fairly intimate, so you can get really good FaceTime with people. I think it's a really open forum as well. So it's not one of these huge kind of monoliths where you've got thousands of people running around and you're deciding which session to book into. There's a really good mix between the format for some great speakers, but then also the tracks where you're in a group of 10, 15, 20 people and you can really kind of brainstorm. And I think it's really good value. So we love sponsoring and attending. So we'll definitely be there.
Exactly.
Yeah,
and that's
what excited me. Go ahead, Lisa.
That's why I come back every year. This is my third year coming, and it's amazing how much I continue to learn year after year. And, you get to meet other people in the same business that you're in because of that smaller platform, speaking one-on-one.
And there's probably just as much value, at least there always is for me, in the conversations after the presentation, right? Where you can talk to other people and brainstorm with them and learn from what they're doing.
Exactly.
Yeah, it's this is a relationship driven industry. You need to be at events and meet with people to kind of get what's going on, kind of like on the ground. And then I've been going for the last 3 years as well, and kind of like to echo what Lisa and Nick said. It's great content. It's an intimate setting. You can have real conversations with people as opposed to a lot of like short ones. And It's one of the only events that goes deep on marketing, specifically digital marketing. There's a lot of events that are more sales led or just more overall industry. This is one of the only ones that I've found that actually goes deep on the digital marketing side. And I actually wish there was more digital marketing events. I know there's little tracks here or there, but this one it gets really heavy into digital marketing, which is really what our customers where our customers are.
Yeah,
And Carol, your team's speaking again this year, right?
Speaking again. I think this is our 4th year attending, and I think the event's only 5 years old. So we're so Courtney and Melissa are speaking, and they're speaking on social media, and it should be a really, really good session. And then we're once again sponsoring all the tea and coffee, which is available pretty much, anytime that you're in the room. So everybody appreciates that. So we are your, hostess of the mostest, I guess, because we're sponsoring the tea and coffee. And I just find it's a great event. It's a really nice way to see a lot of people, reconnect with clients, reconnect with industry friends. I always take away 2 or 3 things that I'm like, oh, hey, I need to check that out. And to me, it's a success if you can come away with, 2 or 3 2 or 3 things or 4 or 5 things. But it's really nice and gets into the nitty gritty, so which is nice of marketing versus just glossing over it at a high level.
I love tea and I love coffee, and I drink them all at the same time.
Well, Courtney and if you're on team tea,
caffeinated.
Yeah.
Thank you for
team
caffeinating people.
Me. Yes, I'm team tea.
Not that
Courtney's
it's in the least boring, and you would need caffeine to stay awake because it's going to be incredible. Greg Bray with Blue Tangerine, and Kevin Weitzel's never boring with Outhouse. We love them both dearly, and of course we have to give a big shout out to our friend Leah with Blue Gypsy Inc. doing the OSC track there. Her take. I'm working with her on a team right now, and I'm telling you that partnership of me having the sales and leadership side and her having the OSC side, it's a beautiful thing when all of that comes together. So thrilled to work with everybody who's going to be there and our incredible sponsors who are making this happen. We got the creme de la creme for that. So if you haven't yet signed up, you can reach out to me. I'll be happy to arrange discount codes for you. So shoot us a link before you go on, and you can learn more at buildermarketingsummit.com right here. So, all right, we are good. Sadly, we could talk about that all day, but we need to move on there. Carol, you want to introduce yourself to us?
Carol Morgan, president of Denim Marketing. We work nationwide for builders, developers, home builders. Yeah, I said builders, developers, lots of BTR. So we are known for content marketing. If you need blogging or social media or public relations, we actually still pitch reporters one-on-one and score a lot of coverage for our clients. So reach out if you need some help. We'd love to work with you.
And for those of you who may be Googling what's a BTR, that would be build to rent. So
I think they all know by now.
Well, hopefully, but we are big on our jargon in this industry for sure.
Yes, we are. And who are you?
I am Kimberly Mackey, for anyone who doesn't know who I am. My company is New Home Solutions Consulting. And of course, I like to say that my company is who you call when you want sales to be the engine that drives the train rather than what runs it off the tracks. So we get involved into the nitty gritty. So we get in there and look at all your processes, your procedures, your software, and make sure that everything is integrating. And then we take that and we train your salespeople how to use it and what your KPIs need to be, how to lead your sales team to get the results that you are looking for. So if you are looking for consistent and profitable sales that are predictable, then we are who you call. So
that sounds so boring, Kimberly. Why would you want that?
I know, right? Who wants predictable sales that are profitable? I don't know. But if I can help you with that, I do a free 1-hour consult. So, and if I can't help you, I will find someone who can. So feel free to reach out to me. All of my contact information is on the screen. So with that, let's move on to more exciting things. Lisa, take it away. Tell us what's going on at JTB and Intera.
Well, hello, I'm Lisa Welter, and I am the marketing manager for JTB Homes and Intera Homes. And we are a home builder in West Michigan. We build around 300 homes a year across 40 plus different communities, so not the really large master plan communities, but some smaller sized, doing townhomes and condos and single family homes. Excited to be on today.
So we are happy to have you. And Lisa's definitely bringing us that real world perspective that we always love on this show. So thank you very much. I know you're busy and I appreciate you joining us. John Peregrine, so Audience Town. So take it away, John.
Yeah, hi, I'm John. I'm the Chief Revenue Officer and one of the co-founders of Audience Town. We are a data and analytics platform that is purpose-built for home builders. We help you see all the stuff that Google doesn't show you, so you can truly understand who's on your website, is your marketing attracting the right audience that actually matches the products that you sell, and basically helps you have what you need to make data-driven decisions, as opposed to just going with gut, your gut, which sometimes happens in this industry.
So you mean we shouldn't just go, but it feels like this should sell. So, I'm just going to build whatever product I want on it. And people, if I build it, they will come.
Yeah, exactly. Like this house has a fence and 4 bedrooms and people are going to want it, so.
It hurts me. It just hurts me. So thank you. Thank you for what you're doing too. I appreciate it. So you can reach John. We've got all his information. Of course, that'll be all included in the show notes as well. And thank you for your time today. So, and then Nick, last but definitely not least. So Nick, take it away.
There we go. Hi guys, I'm Nick. I'm VP of Sales for Conversion. For those that don't know Conversion, we combine predictive AI with a human team of trained agents to be able to engage, qualify, and convert more of your website traffic into qualified leads. So hopefully appropriate for today's conversation. As you can probably tell, I'm usually the resident British person across the pond for these events. So hopefully a little bit memorable for those that have heard me. But yeah, really excited to join you guys and excited for the conversation.
So usually when we have someone with a British accent, then my Southern accent just becomes more pronounced.
There we go,
So,
yin and yang, yin and
yes,
yang.
exactly. Yes. All right, I'm going to take those slides away, and now we're just back to our Brady Bunch view. So those of you who are just joining us, chime in, let us know where you're from, and let's kick it off. Carol, you want to get us started?
Absolutely. I'm going to kick it off with a question for Nick. So Conversion combines pattern analysis, generative AI, and live human support. How does this hybrid chat approach increase engagement and lead capture, especially when compared to traditional chatbot or live chat models?
There's a lot of buzzwords there. We've got
I
a lot of keywords.
I'll let you
Carol.
unpack all
Done
that.
your research. Yeah. I guess our approach to chat as a tool on a website is slightly different from historical solutions. So we're looking to use chat as a way, as part of omnichannel communication. So offering visitors a different way to communicate with a builder, with a brand, and understand whether it's a good fit for them. As part of that, really, we're looking to understand how people are navigating a website. So where are they coming from? How are they interacting with the website? What patterns of behavior are they showing? Are they going deep into their analysis? Are they at discovery stage? And then once we identify them as a potential fit, we're then looking to proactively engage them. So rather than just a static kind of widget on the screen, we're looking to proactively preempt a question or an answer to one of their questions. And then we actually have a team of trained agents, so completely human interaction after that initial approach to help guide them, answer any questions, and then obviously qualify them for OSCs or for on-site sales teams. So that combination really, I think, enables us to leverage tech in the good way, which is ensuring that we're hitting the right people and not being an annoying solution and pop up. And you go into a website and you land, and then you have 100 different pop-ups of different promotions and everything else. It can be a really awkward user experience. We're trying to mitigate that, and at the same time trying to retain that personalization through that human team there. So adding that resource on top.
Can I ask, so after you do all of this and you really warm up this lead, because that sounds like we're really warming up these leads that are maybe not quite ready to make decisions, then how does it work? Does it hand off then to the OSC team or hand off to the sales? Like what's the typical path for that?
Great question. I think we tend to find with most of our clients when we go to back-end conversion rates, because there's no point generating leads if they're not going anywhere, right? Anyone can have a lead database with 10, 15, 20,000 prospects. And if they're not ready to buy and they're not in the market, there's no point having that data. So on a basic level, when we're engaged in conversation, we tend to find phone conversations convert to appointment or tour at a far higher rate than web forms. So if we're in real time, if we've engaged them and they're asking good questions, and through that conversation we can see there's a genuine intent. If it's during OSC hours of, say, 9 to 5, 9 to 6, depending on what that looks like, we can actually turn around to them and say, hey, Kimberly, if it would be helpful, I can have, Mark from our whatever it might be, Windows community, reach out to you right now. And if you say yes, we'll take your number, patch it through, and then they'll get inbound out by phone call. So we can really connect them in real time to retain that information, which is important. We know that when a prospect's on your website, they're probably comparing, 3, 4, 5 different builders at the same time, or as well as other listings. So we want to retain those lead credentials and get them into the hands of the people that can drive value through their authentic conversations. Alternatively, we can just plug it straight into CRM. So Lasso, Salesforce, Dynamics, whatever you guys are using, give that context, or even booking an appointment. So booking in a call to try and facilitate that engagement in real time.
Oh, now you're singing my song, because when we have an appointment, we're 50% more likely to sell than if someone just walks in the door off of one of your signs. So,
Well,
yeah,
and
Go ahead,
Kimberly, I was
Lisa.
just going to say, like, that to me is one of the biggest benefits, is weeding out those true leads and allowing the OSC to spend the time on those that are going to be making the appointments. Because we get a lot of traffic by past buyers that are, asking warranty questions, or what's my paint color? And it's a waste of their time, right? And so it just makes much more sense to weed them out.
Yeah, or get them to the right person so we can
Yeah.
redirect that. We're not that we don't value our warranty questions from our buyers, but that's not what the OSC team is hired to do. So
Right. Well,
Exactly.
yeah.
yeah, that's really interesting, Nick, and it is kind of the challenge. I think that, yeah, how do you work through all of the, hey, I'm a cleaner and I'm looking for a job, versus, hey, I really need to move, or even I need to move, but not now.
And I think also, to your point about weeding out people and getting to the right resource, it's really important because the value that OSCs can bring is far greater than any content or collateral that we can provide them as a builder. So, we might be able to share every piece of inventory we've got, every minute detail, whether that's via chat or an email, whatever it might be. But ultimately, buying a home is an emotional purchase, which is why we have those humans in that sales process. And I know builders have blended and tried to go through a fully automated route or a route through an online journey, which worked for some builders. But I think for the majority of people in the market today, they still want to have that guidance, whether it's through an OSC or whether it's through that actually in-person visit. They want to retain that. So that's really key for us, and I think that's where the value we can bring is making sure that the teams that potentially trained by Kimberly or Leah, for example, from an OSC perspective, can ultimately do their work in the best possible environment.
We have a question in the chat that is there specific requirements for a platform or requirements to be able to implement anything like this?
No, so we're a low code solution. So we implement via GTM, Google Tag Manager, or through a couple of lines dropped on the back of the script. So our solution is built on low code touch. In terms of the back end, we have an open API, so any CRM you guys are using, we can integrate with. But CMS is not a problem. Any CMS, we can work things out. So basically, no, in answer to your solution, there's no requirement.
Well,
That's
as long
awesome.
as you actually have a CRM that is
And
an
use
open
it.
platform.
And use
And
it.
there are some in our industry that are not open, and nor are they CRMs. So I say this
That's
all
a
the time.
whole nother
I
conversation.
didn't go there. I didn't say who they were, but I'm just saying if you don't have a CRM where you can get leads from all of your different platforms, it's not a CRM.
Right.
Okay, I have that out of my system now. Go ahead.
All right. I'm going to go ahead and ask John the next question because I've got a question for John.
Oh boy, let's do it.
Let's do it. All right. So platforms like Audience Town offer real estate specific audience targeting. How can builders pair the insights that they get from sites like Audience Town with AI powered tools to personalize messaging and increase conversion?
That is a really good question.
Isn't it a good question? Yeah.
Yeah, that's a great question. So at our core,
Yeah.
Audience Town is a measurement platform that basically takes and analyzes all of the people that have come to your website or your apps or however they funnel through into your sales and marketing funnel. We're able to help provide lots of data points that aren't easily available via like Google's or Google Analytics, for example. So Google Analytics will say, hey, 1,000 people came to the website, 100 clicked, 10 filled out forms and converted. Those 1,000 people could also be leads, right? They're kicking their tires. They got there. They're interested. How do you message to them? So I think that's where your question is like, how do you understand more about those people? And that's what we do. So we help provide a lot of the data that builders can use, or agencies can use, or even consultants can use to help understand how to message to these people the correct way by first understanding who's on the website to begin with, right? Like who's there? We know it's 1,000 people. Are they male? Are they female? Do they own or do they rent? If they own, do they own an asset that matches or helps them qualify for the products that you're selling today from an asset value? So the data that we have in our platform, such as home ownership status, if you own, what's the value of your home? If you rent, how many bedrooms are you renting? What's your family size? Do you have a pet? Is it a dog or a cat? Does that cat walk across your desk during the webinars? Like that kind of data. And with that data, you can then put that data into ChatGPT or download our file, push it into like an AI prompt, and understand and basically build a persona from it, right? So when a builder, and Lisa could chime in a little bit more here, but when you develop land or start to decide to like, hey, what we're going to build here, you actually do research and build out a buyer persona. The buyer persona for the product sometimes doesn't always match with who's actually coming in. And that's where our platform helps to like uncover or open the kimono or just provide transparency that Google doesn't, right? So you can sort and cut the data that we have of the attributes that I said, such as male, female, homeowner, all these hundreds of different attributes. You could also cut it by contents. So if you're A/B testing different content by UTM source or UTM campaign or UTM content, you could start to understand if an audience that matches your buyer persona is coming from a certain search term more than another search term, or coming from a referrer more than another referrer, or more importantly, is interacting with one piece of creative or campaign messaging versus another. And then that's where the marketing team or the agency on behalf of the marketing team could start to like make data-driven decisions and allocate and optimize. We have a long roadmap. There's a lot of people at Audience Town that are way smarter than me that are building AI into the platform. Right now, what you can do is you can download our reporting, push it into a prompt. In the near future, we will have a lot of that stuff built into our platform that will actually make suggestions to bring suggestions forward saying, hey, based upon who's coming to your website, you might want to do X, Y, or Z, or you might want to allocate or optimize from A to B. So those things are coming in the future. And then where you can take it even a one step further is we have API integrations into HubSpot and into Lasso, where it brings it from, hey, this is what our funnel looks like at a cohort basis, 1,000 people, 100 people. We actually can do it at a one-to-one as well when you integrate the CRM to our platform. So there's lots of different ways to kind of like, I don't want to say skin the cat, but I'll say skin the cat.
I'm still on your last one about the opening the kimono thing. There was an image there that just stayed in my mind. I was like, wait, I have to listen. He's saying something important here.
Right.
I'll provide full transparency to what's going on. How about that? Is that better?
Well, and we have a question in the chat for you. It says, what's the turnaround on a report from Audience Town? How long does it need to run to get a quality download for personas?
Good question. So, really depends on site traffic. We integrate via Google Tag Manager. We have a similar ideology as Nick does, low code solution. So we're a partner inside Google Tag Manager, literally 3 clicks and the integration's done. So the integration is quite quick. To get a report, really, we look for statistical relevance of at least like 500 unique individuals to a website or a community page inside a website that you want to basically measure. And then from there, it could be a week or it could be a couple of weeks worth of data that would give enough substance for it to be like statistically relevant. So hopefully that answers the question, and then it always builds from there. So we can only report on what's going on your website from the first day a pixel gets placed, and then after that, once the history starts to build, you can always look back. So yeah.
Can we find out things like I had one of my sales leaders this week say something in one of our planned encounters that I was like, okay, she's laying down some gold. She said, if you notice that people are driving a particular brand of cars, like in one community, she noticed an inordinate amount of EVs. Like the buyers were almost all driving EVs. And so they discovered that was indeed their profile. And so she started working with some of the local car dealerships that sell EVs and was able to increase the traffic. And of course, as people pull into the community, they see those EVs in the driveway. They're like, I found my people. They just
I belong.
and I was like, you know what, that was just absolutely here's me over on this sales side, right? Not always thinking about more than just the grassroots marketing, but if our salespeople had that information, I mean, you really could personalize this journey. And that's where buyers are today.
Yeah, and that's some of the data that we are in the process of being able to push back upstream into the CRM. It's not something that we have available today, but that's also another thing on the roadmap. There's certain data that we can append into a client's CRM. So it's, Kimberly, that's a great data point, right? And observation. It might not be something your OSC wants to ask as like a qualification question. It's like, you're asking more about the home and their journey, and a question about like, hey, do you drive an EV? Like
Right.
maybe isn't like, might come off like a little like, oh, that's interest, if she observes it, but that's data that you can that the OSC can have in in HubSpot or Lasso or the CRM, and they'd be like, oh, interesting. These like 8 people drive EVs. Let's like put them to the front of the list because we've seen a higher conversion rate and a higher propensity and intent to buy based upon that. Let's play that out and see how that works. But that's where it's like the human on the ground that knows the market plus the data together is really powerful. And that's what like that's where the intersection is of like the people on the ground know the market, know the business. A lot of times we see a lot of the data, but we don't understand it as clearly because we're in the local. Audience Sound is not a local market builder. We are a data platform. And sometimes we see data in our platform. We're like, oh, that's interesting. I don't know what that means. And then we get on the phone with the client and they're like, that means this. And they know exactly what it means within a second, just to your point. So as you can see,
and sometimes they don't. I mean, that's one of the things. Sometimes our builders collect so much data, they don't know what to do with it, right? And how to measure it, and then now what do I do? But if in this scenario where we captured that information, now this does affect price product position, right? So that ties to, well, maybe we want to offer chargers for EVs as part of our incentive package. And maybe we want to do a whole targeted campaign. So Lisa, if you had this data, like where could you go with it on a personalized journey if you knew this sort of information for your buyers? Because if you broadcast it out broadly, how many people have EVs? Maybe 1 out of every 20 car shoppers. I don't know what the stat is, but again, if it was hot for that market right there, what could you do with that?
Well, and there's, like John was saying, to me, there's 2 really big different benefits to this type of data. So one on that upfront high funnel side of who is on the website. And for us in particular, it has helped identify the traffic that we're getting may not necessarily be who we can sell to. So their household income isn't enough to afford our homes, or everybody has currently a 3-stall garage and this community can only offer 2 stalls. Like those are some really big pieces of information that are powerful to then help on the search side. Are there things that we need to do differently on SEO and SEM to get the right traffic now that we've identified it? But then also John didn't really go into the fact that we can also get down to specific communities. So for JTB Homes and Intera Homes, because of course I have 2 different brands here and we're building 3 different types of products and now a 4th that has different buyer personas, I can dig in for just the community that is selling townhomes. Okay, so who specifically is going to that community page and how are they different? And then what do we then now need to do on the messaging side? And then the other side that John talked about a little bit was then lower funnel and connecting it to the data that we do have on our CRM and the actual buyers, and do those match? And if they don't, well, then we need to pull some different triggers and fix some things. And if they do, then let's use this AI and the messaging to help really get to that right buyer.
Yeah.
And this data, I mean, when we really can personalize, and when you shop at Target or you shop at Amazon, or anywhere you go, even when you're buying a car, like this journey becomes very, very personal, and it isn't just it's what you're looking for. It really drills it down and gives you alternate suggestions based on, and we're just so far behind as builders. So I'm thinking, that with all the information that we could get from what John is talking about, and then we combine that with how people are coming into the website and starting to ask questions, like we could really program our AI chat to share and drive people in that direction, to let them know where that value is. Am I right?
Yeah, completely right. So part of the work we do is optimizing opening messages or greetings or even trigger points based on campaigns from UTM source or whatever it might be. So, leveraging that data, for example, you launch a new campaign, Lisa, about a specific demographic and keywords that you're leveraging. We can then have the chat proactively engage people when they hit a certain point, depending on their patterns of behavior, with a greeting. Let's use the EV example just because we've said it. Maybe you do actually do an incentive, might not be a good one, around an EV charger or some sort of EV solution for a home. That greeting might be, do something simple. This might not be the one, the consultants will kill me if they hear this, but something like, oh, did you know with this community, this particular home, we are offering an incentive on EV chargers? Something like really open-ended, and they think, hang on, how do they know that I've got an EV, and how do they know that I'm interested in making sure I can charge it at home without any friction? Something like that. As I say, I'm kind of spitballing here, but certainly we can combine the two to have a really personalized kind of experience.
Well, and we had a really specific example where all the traffic to this one community, had a very high interest in golf. And so, okay, they have this interest. Now we can then change, of course, content on our website. Let's make sure that that community page is talking about the golf courses nearby, because there are tons of them. And then using that, of course, in our email marketing and everything, in our photography, like let's make sure that that community is showing well online that there are tons of golf courses nearby, and it's going to supply them with what their interests are.
And again, you didn't necessarily have a golf course community, but if you're like we are in Florida, I mean, you can't hit a golf ball without hitting a golf course somewhere, right? So, uh, so they're there, and we show people how the surrounding area can meet the need that perhaps the community itself doesn't have. So they
Exactly.
might have ruled it out and said, no, I need to live in a golf course community. Well, why pay for that when you have choices? And I don't know, I would imagine golfers get bored with golfing the same course. I don't know. I'm not a golfer.
Well, Kimberly, from your standpoint, it's just all different touch points that you can use and information to sell, right? So
Right.
it's like you're always looking to land that potential buyer with something that they're gonna emotionally connect with, right? Because like as everyone said, buying a home is an emotional journey. It's the largest purchase you make in your lifetime, and any ways to connect with something that they love, it starts to change and shift the kind of how they think about something. So even if the golf course isn't offered, but there's golf in the nearby area, the pro and con list. Golf starts to become it starts to move to the pro list, right? Of like, oh, it's not in the community, but it's 3 minutes away, short drive. There's 8 courses. Okay, great. Like and the home product is what I wanted. So maybe we make a decision to like put more weight on that decision there. So and anyway,
People want we got to cut through the noise. There's so
Right.
much noise out there right now. And this is the thing with builders. We look at what everybody else is doing and then we do that. So how can you set yourself apart when you're doing exactly what everybody else is doing? This is a way to not only set yourself apart, but give yourself a huge competitive advantage when you can really start to personalize that journey for people.
Yeah.
And,
Well,
and to me,
even
this is the tip of the iceberg. This is the stuff you need
yeah.
because you're going to have to build that personal website at some point.
Yeah, so it really helps with two things, that we've worked with JTB and Intera on, email marketing. So it's helped us to retarget people who've been on their site already with messages that make more sense to them based on what we've learned about their buying personas and interest. And then it also helps us to blindly target, people through pay-per-click and Facebook and all those other ways, based on who we know is interested in that community. So it gives us a leg up versus just, marketing and blasting it out there in an X mile radius and hoping that you're getting it right. It really gives you some really nice data to drill down and spend money even smarter than we were before. So it's
yeah,
been
at the
really
end of the day,
interesting.
you're trying to use whatever you can to have a deeper connection with that prospect, right?
Right.
Well, and Carol, from the social and the PR standpoint, I'm thinking this is gold for you to coming up with that fresh approach to get
Right.
the public stories placed and get them placed in front of the buyers. There's got to be a hook. There's got to be something there that it makes it newsworthy, right? To make it
Right.
PR driven.
Yeah, I mean, more data is always better. So, we just, we love having additional data and trying to figure out ways to use it and use it smarter versus, just whatever's next on the checklist.
Yeah, I agree. I think there's so much data out there that, I know the topic of this is like AI and data, and where the two come together is that sometimes there's too much data for a human to actually go through. And,
Right.
and where the AI comes in is it's able to process, read, and actually put a POV or, process the data in a way that makes it a little bit more digestible in a shorter, nice little concise roll up, which helps you, from whatever standpoint you're using however you're using data and how deep it is. It makes makes you able to actually like execute on it or just be able to like not take days to read through something, right? Or analyze something. And it
Right.
Anybody
basically,
got time for that?
yeah, yeah, you're able to distill it down, to a couple bullet points. And usually it's pretty close. And then you could edit the rest to kind of make it hit the mark, right? But it just saved you like days or if not like many, many, many hours.
Well, for Lisa and Carol, when you have this information now, social media is so boring for builders. Now we can actually, if you could just go down this checklist with the stuff that you've learned about your buyers and
Hmm.
start providing some fresh, cool content. I mean, drone views of the golf courses in the area, or, go to the golf course and interview the local golf pro. And I mean, just the list goes on and on and on. I think we just get so busy that we're like, oh, well, do you like kitchen A or kitchen B? Do you want the black cabinets or the white cabinet? I'm like, please stop with the black cabinets or the white cabinets. Don't care. You know, it's so snoozeville. And this is a way to actually like break free from all the noise and again, personalize that journey and hit those hot buttons. So I just think there's a lot of different ways that we can go with this. And I think I saw Monica, our friend Monica,
Monica's on here.
from
Yep.
Lasso. Did I see
Yep.
Monica on here?
She was on here. I think
Yes,
she's still
Monica,
here.
give us a shout. Give us a shout. We love Monica from ECI Lasso, and Lasso, like, man, you program this stuff into to Lasso, and you got drip campaigns coming out the wazoo. Pardon. See, now Nick's opening kimonos and I've got wazoos happening. I don't know. We're deteriorating rapidly here. So, Monica, chime in. Let us know what you think on how the different ways that this can be used with the platform. But, to me, as my sales brain is starting to go, because I'm going from, okay, great, we got all this stuff. Now, what do we do with it? And how do we make it convert? And so the sales team has got to be tuned into this too. Lisa, how do you get your sales team involved in this?
Well, I start with the OSC. We review the data together all the time, make sure that, we're connected from that standpoint. And then sharing it, you have to be able to share it. First, we as builders too, we need to trust it. We think we know our buyer personas, but when you start to see all this data, it may be a little bit different. And we need to rethink a little bit of what we're doing and trust it. And then share it. The sales team has to know the same information that we're seeing and getting them to trust it as well. That's I think sometimes a battle of mine, particularly, but showing them that this is what we're seeing. But then having the conversation two-sided, is that what you're seeing? I think it was John was saying, connecting it with the boots on the ground and then the data. So, okay, sales agent, are you seeing this too? And is this matching up? And if not, what levers do we need to pull?
Yeah. I mean, the discovery questions, which having, again, just spent a month of my life reviewing mystery shops, I can tell you we need so many more discovery questions, people. But this could be a clue that, hey, if you're like a lot of people in this community, you might have an interest in this. Do you? If not, what are your interests? So that you learn more information. And Monica's going to love me. She's probably, you got to put the information in the CRM. So marketing doesn't know anything about it if you don't put it in the CRM. We absolutely have to capture it. So in my world, if it doesn't happen in Lasso, it didn't happen. It just did not happen. Yeah, look, that's what she says. Keep it in your CRM. Helps you. Yes.
Is that a big hurdle? I would say, like, Kimberly and Lisa, like, just in general in this
huge hurdle.
Yeah.
Yes.
I mean, I won't name any names. Lisa's not one of them, but I have had clients with CRM systems that nobody enters anything in. I mean, the agents don't enter anything. And so you don't even know who is somewhere anywhere in the buyer's journey because the buyers aren't even in the system, which makes it impossible to remarket to them because I can't send them anything. I don't know who they are.
Yeah.
So it's challenging from
they're
start
like,
to
well,
finish.
I've got my notes on the back of my reg card.
Yeah,
but then you ask
them
about this buyer and they can't find the reg card. They don't know, they don't remember because they've seen 10 other people since then. And they're like, well, I'm just busy. I didn't have time. I'm like, you're too busy to make a sale. So like Monica's, good data is everyone's job. And I always say, if you got hit by a bus, could I come behind you and know how to help these people? It's a horrible, horrible analogy, and I don't want anyone to be hit by a bus. But I mean, ultimately, if you for some reason weren't there anymore and you got transferred to another community or, whatever, could anybody else come behind you and pick up the pieces?
Right.
And don't underestimate
if it's not in your CRM, it didn't happen in my world. So if you need help with that, call me. Happy to help.
Sorry, I'll stop you, Kimberly. don't underestimate that. I mean, we had a good example over Christmas. We were doing helping a client with a pilot, and this person had engaged about 9 months before they'd spoken to the OSCs, and they said, actually, there's a specific life event. We're not looking anymore. You know, they've gone through their discovery. We're not looking for a new home. And then over Christmas, it was literally 2 days before Christmas, they came onto the website again. We engaged them. We converted them. Something had changed in
They've
their
changed in their world.
day-to-day
Yeah.
life. Yeah, they got through OSC after Christmas, called them up, had the full context, was able to see the history of where they came in from, how they were engaged previously, what they were looking at. Turns out they were looking at a different product, but facilitate a conversation. You know, hey John, saw that you engaged with us 9 months ago. You were looking at this. What changed? How, you know, why is now a better time? And in that particular case, this is a little plug. I don't hate to do this, but they actually closed within 2 weeks after that. It was a super quick turnaround. But without
Yes.
that data before, it means that actually we couldn't leverage that history of them showing intent, falling off, being retargeted, and then being engaged, and then obviously to the point of sale. So we see this data loss with the CRMs in all channels, whether it's calls, whether it's chats or anything else. Things are coming through. We're not even tracking the UTM links or whatever else, and it's, you know, wasted money, right? The way we look at this from taking a step back from a conversion funnel, if we've got a shortage of leads and we talk about the quality of lead, we've got shortage of leads and we've got, you know, a bucket, for example, trying to fill it up with water. We've got holes in the bucket. We can still keep filling it with water and still plugging a load in, but ultimately, you know, if we're not converting it, we're not gonna retain an ROI, and we're just gonna keep spending. So that's not what we want to do in today's market.
And that's where these tools come in so handy, and why you have a CRM, but why you need to feed this data into the CRM, because your salespeople are trying to convert their A prospects. That's where their focus is. Who's in front of them right now that's ready, willing, and able to buy a home. If they're a B or a C prospect, like, it's out of sight, out of mind. They're falling off the wayside without having the technology and the tools to stay in front of them. And I hear from builders all the time, well, that's their job. They just need to do it. Great. And I need to, you know, be a size 2 and, you know, and live to be 112 in perfect health. You know, just saying it doesn't make it real, doesn't make it happen. We have to have systems in place to make that happen. And this is, you know, to me, we have the technology, right? We can do it. I love. So Lisa, how are your salespeople? Are they resistant to this, or are they going, wait a minute, this is kind of helpful? What's happening there?
There's a little bit of both. You know, I would say our team it really varies on personality, and some of them love it and use it and see the value. And the others, we just have to keep pushing on, right?
Well, accountability, you know, I mean, and ultimately, you know, accountability can be motivational, because when you hold people accountable through the pain of being held accountable to the point that they see that it works, then usually they're like, oh, okay, yeah, now I see why I need to do this.
Mm-hmm.
So, but yeah, I always say, you know, the secret sauce are those general sales managers that are out in the field, doing those plan encounters and holding people accountable. And again, numbers don't lie. You got to look at the KPIs too. You know, what's really happening in that community. Those key performance indicators. So we have we have a couple of questions.
No,
So
sorry, I just responded on the chat. That
you
was
just
me.
responded. Well, take it away so the rest of
Yeah.
our audience can know.
Yeah, so the question was, had the builder in this example been actively engaging? And I think it depends what you mean by active engagement. So I think a lot of builders, after, you know, that life cycle from the OSC is finished, depending on the lead volume. You know, I've seen OSCs having to kill leads after 21 days, right? They spend 21 days working them hard. They can't get a return. That's it. They're then into kind of a marketing funnel. As I say, it depends on the volume. So in terms of the engagement, there had been a limited nurture, automated workflows coming through, which obviously help with keeping the brand front and center, but not, I'd say, not engagement with a one-to-one kind of personal basis. So it was recaptured, re-engaged, and then obviously through to the standard workflow from a sales process.
So yeah, and again, all of these things can then support that or put it back in front of
Exactly.
the salesperson. So, that notice from the CRM that, hey, Susie Smith was just back on the website and you thought she was interested in the Devonshire plan, and turns out she really likes the Cheshire plan.
Yeah.
All of a sudden, like, we can use that and we can do that outreach, and you can't be all creepy and go, hey, I just saw you creeping around on my website. Nobody wants that. But by the way, by the way, I was thinking about you, and I know we talked about that Devonshire plan, but we have a Cheshire going up, and I just really was thinking about all the stuff that you told me was important to you. Would you like to come out and schedule an appointment to see the one we're building right now? Boom. You hit that right after Susie's been on your website looking at that. That's hot. That's going to work.
And that's why it's key that all of these AIs connect, right? So that they're connecting to the CRM, and the CRM is good, and it's letting the sales agent, it's alerting them, hey, they're back. Let's re-engage with them, because that's always my fear, of course, in marketing when we're not right there is anybody getting forgotten? And that's where it's always key to me, whatever technology you're going to bring in, it has to be able to be connected to your CRM, and then your CRM needs to make sure it's doing its job for the sales agents and the OSCs.
And how do you make sure that everything is giving you the information to be able to target that, or giving your leadership team the information to be able to pull the right levers? Like, do you have, I know one of my builders just hired a data scientist to mine the data for them, so that they're using in conjunction with Lasso and all their other systems. But that was a new one for me. I was like, oh, not all my builders have the budget to hire a data scientist. So, but how do you guys do that?
It's a little mix of all of the above. So we do have a rule similar to that, but it's a lot of trying to get the data into a system like Power BI to then feed some good reporting tools that you can quickly look at. But then it's me, data mining a lot of it. And we have a few others on the team as well that can go through and review. A lot of these tools, anybody in the company can be set up within it. They don't, with like our audience town, it doesn't matter how many people are set up. Get everyone set up, make sure everybody's in there. I've done several trainings with a lot of the different teams within the company of reminding them this is how you use this. I can also see when they go in and have they logged in. And it's the same thing with using surveys like Avid surveys. I can see when people are engaging and keeping people accountable, like you were saying, Kimberly, and making sure that it isn't just all on me or that one person. Right. Are we all looking at the data, and then are we sharing it? And is the agency using it as well, and making sure that everything is matching from a content standpoint?
Well, and I think the other thing then that Lisa made this point without making this point is different people having access to your data gives different perspectives. So Absolutely. Her sales team isn't going to look at it the same as her marketing team, as her construction team, or whomever. So I think having lots of people look at it and then, coming back together and talking about it might even glean better results than what you get, looking at it just as the marketing team.
100%. I try to pull reports together and pull us all in a room together, if not monthly, quarterly. And we always have little different insights from that.
I think that's really important, Lisa. I think you said a couple of things that were just really important there, but you also said the training. So Nick and John, are there tools that you provide to your clients? I'm sure that provide this level of training and support for Lisa's team, so that her team knows how to use it, what to do with it, and it's not just another one of those things that they got really excited about and bought and then nothing happens with it. Well, how do you carry it through?
John, take it away. I'll
Yeah, so we have a customer service team that works hand in hand with the builders to, one, train them, but also be a resource. So we understand that our clients have a lot on their plate at all times. So what we like to do during our kickoff call and weekly office hours is understand which communities they want to focus on. And then we provide these things called insight reports, which are basically emails to the inbox of the marketing and or sales pod that's managing a region or a division. And then what we do is we'll bring forward data that we saw that was interesting or relevant to that specific community. And then that helps the marketing team or salespeople actually go in, because like to some of the point we made earlier, there's a lot of information in the platform. And this helps them kind of like focus in and zoom in. But outside of that, we do work to train the teams. And depending on how deep into the org the builder wants us to go. In some setups, we work directly with the marketing teams, and others work with the marketing team and the agency. And in some, we actually even train the OSCs and train the salespeople on it as well. So it really depends. Everyone's a little different and have different structures, but training is of utmost importance. But really getting the data into the person's hands that's going to be able to use it is really what we're trying to achieve at all times.
Similar to John's perspective, I guess from us, we intersect that line between obviously marketing and OSEs and the sales teams because of the nature of the product we offer. So from a marketing perspective, obviously from a setup, we're looking to understand what their key goals are and what they're really pushing, what matters to them at that point, where they're looking to optimize their conversion, and work back in terms of our agents to understand how we can optimize chat to support those aims. I think one challenge we do have, and I think it's quite common across builders, particularly kind of larger builders, is that feedback loop with OSCs. So when we have when we have obviously a national OSC team lead or whatever it might be, and maybe 20, 30 OSCs underneath them, that can be really difficult to get everyone in the room from a feedback perspective. So we try and arm them with as much content and collateral, whether it's a recording or a live meeting, to make sure they're familiar with the process going on, because ultimately we want to iterate and get better with the client depending on what they're seeing on the ground, and we can only do that with their feedback. So we try and be proactive, and as John said, we're always on hand to be able to support as well.
I think that's so key. I mean, it is for me, because that's what I do when I go in and I'm working with companies. I'm looking at all these tools that they have, and I don't come in and go, okay, we need to blow up all your tools and start over. I'm like, what do we have, and are we working at it to the point that we're using it so much that we try to break it? Like, I want to maximize whatever technology that we have and make sure that every person there is really fully utilizing that, because truly that makes the difference, especially in a market like this where it's very flat. Buyers are very nervous. We need to take advantage of every person who's reaching out and identifying themselves to us. I mean, most of us try to guard our data. It's hard to guard your data today. So most of us are more guarded about sharing that data. And if somebody has shared their data with you, or they're surfing around on your website, and man, that's it's just gold. We need to take advantage of every single one of those leads today to make sure that we're helping them. So, to me, that's key, that all of that comes in. We are at the top of the hour. I see this. I think we could go on for a while on this. This is exciting stuff.
Probably have like 10
quick
more
round
questions.
robin, and Lisa, you're at the top of my screen. So, leave everybody with a final thought. What do you think is that top of the filter funnel here, the top of the funnel, nugget that you want to leave?
Sure. Use the data and trust it, and make sure everybody's seeing it and digesting it, and then do something with it. Don't just review it and not implement some sort of change from it.
Snap, snap, snap. Yes. Carol, you're right there, so I'm going to go to you next.
I would say, it's great to have technology, but having it isn't enough. You have to use it. You have to program it. You have to get to know it. I mean, we've got an awful lot of people who have technology and have had it since, I don't know, since we've had internet. We've got builders who don't even look at their Google Analytics. So, don't jump 3 steps forward if you're not even looking at your Google Analytics. Is part of what I would say is, like, you got to start somewhere, but start using this data. It's going to be critical as we move forward.
Yes. Absolutely. Nick?
I'd echo the thoughts of Lisa. So let's leverage that data in this type of market. Let's make sure we're optimizing who's seeing us and when they're seeing us. But then from our perspective, let's also try and empower that person who is looking to buy. Let's make sure we empower the prospect to be able to engage on their own terms and listen to them and make sure that when we're having those conversations, we're taking everything into account so we can personalize it and make them have a really good buyer experience.
Love it. Yeah, and that's what it's all about. And that builds more business and more referrals and on and on and on. All right, John.
All right. So this is what we have. Consumers are in control. You need to know your consumers. You have to know your customers. There's plenty of data out there. It's all knowable. So it's then utilizing that. So, especially in a market like this, the more you can know about your customer, the better you can message to them, the better you can manage your funnel, the better you can use AI to make adjustments and changes to messaging and all the different things that can help bring that prospect down to actually converting into a paying customer.
Beautiful. Wow, this is so cool. So my final thought on this is your sales team is capable, but only if you don't just throw these tools out there and tell them to figure it out, because they're not going to figure it out. They're busy. Yeah. So your sales team and your leadership team, accountability, and integrating this as part of your weekly system. Like Lisa said, we're going to have those regular discussions. We're going to hold people accountable for using this data, and we're going to train them on how to make the most of it, because if you're going to invest in these fabulous tools, then you do need to use them. There's no point in investing in them if you're just going to let them sit flat. So and they're valuable, and they will set you apart if you do. So all right. Thank you, everyone. Thank you for joining us. Carol, great idea on this topic. The recording out.
Yeah, thank you very much, everyone.
Thanks, guys.
Take it easy.
Thanks. Bye-bye.